Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Popular Side podcast, the official Workington AFC podcast. Today is episode 5, and my guest today is the one and only Brad Carroll. Hello, Brad.
Hello, thanks for having me along.
It's very nice to have you on. You know, it was a brilliant Christmas present when you were announced as a loan signing, especially where we were at the time in dire straits. But best Christmas present we probably had in a couple of years. So I'm just going to go right into the questions as best as I can, try and ease you in with some chill questions, and we'll go right into the football and your career, and then obviously the general questions at the end. So outside of football, what are your hobbies?
I quite enjoy my darts.
Right.
Yeah. It was when I was at Huddersfield actually that it got me into it. When I was in my digs, I used to sit there every Thursday night when I got back from training and watching it, and got into it. And then the last few years of since my injury last season, I just picked up some darts and started chucking again, and I try and play as much as I can.
You're going to be challenging Littler anytime soon?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. He's different gravy, and he's some player.
So on to the next question. Kind of, are you a man for a night out kind of thing? You on town?
I am, I would say. Yeah. I last season when I was out a bit, I did have a few nights out, drowning my sorrows a bit, thinking this was it. But back in the day, I did definitely love a night out. I've had quite a few footy doos and some interesting ones. But I do also enjoy the quiet side, waking up early in the mornings, go and play golf with my girlfriend's dad, going for nice walks and hikes with my girlfriend and the dog. So it's I like both sides of it, to be honest.
Just for anyone interested in golf, kind of what's your handicap? Just a little question.
Do I have to say?
If you can ignore if you want to.
I've only just took it up. I'm a 26 handicapper.
Okay.
Not ideal, but it's coming down. Believe it or not.
Well, that's good to hear. You know, every time you play, it's an improvement, I guess.
Yeah.
Just kind of following on for the night out thing. Do you have a go-to karaoke song that you select?
Oh, I'm a bit of an Ollie Murs fan.
Ollie Murs.
Yeah,
right.
a bit of Dance For Me Tonight. Or Jason Mraz, I'm Yours. Yeah, don't mind the little slower ones, me.
Not too bad. I can't say I have a karaoke song, but Ollie Murs would have been when I was a weean, so
I try and avoid it as much as possible. It's not my forte, karaoke. Don't enjoy it.
Assault on the ears.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
So going into kind of the football side, what's your supported team and why?
I'm a Liverpool fan.
Good to hear, Brill.
Yeah, it's not been the best season, has it?
No.
But I don't know. It's just I do enjoy watching the footy. I think as the years have gone on, I've started enjoying it less and less. The Premier League and stuff that. It's just I think the VAR stuff and that's just kind of took away the enjoyment from the game. And sometimes you're watching games and you don't know whether to celebrate a goal and stuff. So I enjoy more non-league stuff and try and get to watch as many games as I can. And obviously I'm not playing myself. But yeah, it means more in non-league. Yeah,
especially when you can get away with some questionable tackles.
I don't know what you're
about. Into the kind of into like game day. Do you know anyone who had like really strange pre-match rituals in your years of football?
No, I've never noticed it. I've got a pretty boring one where I'll do 2 tuck jumps. I don't know if you've noticed before every half. So before the kick off, I'll do 2 tuck jumps. But that's it. I've never noticed anyone have them, and not anyone worth mentioning anyway. I'm quite superstitious as well, so I'll try and. Last 3 weeks I've stayed up in the travel lodge across the road for the last few home games, and I've done my routine's been exactly the same. Gone to the same place to eat, had the same breakfast, and it's a bit superstitious.
What's kind of that go-to breakfast like pre-match meal?
If I was at home, I'd be having scrambled egg, beans on toast.
Oh.
I don't make it. My partner does because I'm a terrible cook. But if I'm at home, that's what I'll have. And the last few weeks I've been at that. Is it Saludo?
Saludo.
Saludo. The restaurant in Workington. And I've been having eggs Benedict with a sausage and a hash brown.
Very nice. Sounds very, very nice. I'm quite jealous at the moment. Kind of, and then we'll go really into the football questions. What kind of led to your early interest in football?
I don't really know what got me into it. I know my dad's always been a massive football fan. He's never, my parents never pressured me into anything like that. You used to get some parents that, kind of force it upon, but my parents have always been really good like that, and they've just left me to it, let me enjoy it and stuff. Obviously been there, supported me through everything, which I'm so grateful for. But I don't know what got me into it. I just started kicking a ball, and yeah, that was it.
Fair enough. Do you have any idols growing up? And kind of, I know you just kicked into it, but what, any one you kind of...
Probably Steven Gerrard.
Gerrard.
He speaks for himself, doesn't he? The things that he's achieved, and just looking at the teams that he's played, looking at what he did for Liverpool and stuff, and the players that he had around him and that, and how he was just a leader, and the game that always springs to mind is the Champions League final. I think that was my most memorable moment as a kid, watching a football game and just seeing, and the feeling of getting over the line and him changing the game and stuff like that.
Unfortunately I wasn't alive for the 2005 Istanbul. I'm making you feel old here. Question I want to quickly ask you. When I was doing my research for this interview, or kind of podcast episode, it said you played for Manchester United's youth. Is there any truth to that?
Yes. So I spent from under 14s to under 16s at Manchester United Youth Academy, which was a pretty big jump from where I was. I was playing at Hull Crow Boys at the time. I played there pretty much most of my young life. And there was a scout at one of the games. It was a Lancashire Cup game or something like that. And he, by off chance, it had been rearranged, and he managed to see the sign as he was driving past. And anyway, he managed to find the game. And then I get a message in that the following week, just saying that you've been invited down to come and have a 2-day trial at Manchester United. And I couldn't believe it. So anyway, it was a Tuesday and a Thursday thing, and it was just literally, you'd get to Manchester, up to Carrington, absolutely stunning training ground, and it was just about 4 or 5 11-a-side games, 5 full teams, just everyone out there playing. That's all it was, just 2 games. And then on the Thursday, they called me and 2 others in after one of the games, and just said they'd like to invite you to a further 6-week trial. So I managed to get through the first part, me and the 2 other lads. And then after about 5 weeks of travelling through 4 times a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, with my parents, my dad got a phone call, said that we want to sign him up. It was. I just remember getting the phone call. I was walking across the road at school. Dad rings me up and he's like, "Oh, Manchester United, what a sign!" Yeah, I was honestly, mate. Yeah, I remember it really well.
Aye, Liverpool fan playing for United.
Yeah, I know, and I only scored 2 goals for United. One was against an Austrian team, and the other one was against Liverpool, which was I mean, look, when United come knocking on your door, you don't say no because you support Liverpool, do you?
Yeah, fair enough. I can't knock that. No. But then after that, you ended up in the Huddersfield youth set up. Do you remember much about that after kind of leaving United to go?
Yeah, I mean, it was obviously a disappointing time leaving United when I found out I wasn't getting a scholarship, which I was obviously disappointed. But I went on a few places on trial. I went to Preston, Blackburn and Newcastle. Ended up at Huddersfield. Had a trial there, was playing for the under-18s, bearing in mind I was only 15, 16 at the time. And I was playing up for them, and straight away with the under-18s, and it just clicked. It just worked really well, and fitted what they were looking for, and they just brought me in.
Right. Well, I'll definitely name my notes for the next question. Kind of when you were part of Huddersfield, I believe it was in 2014. Just like Mitchell, you also versed Man United in the FA Youth Cup, and this time you beat them 2-1 as well, much like Mitch, with Carlisle. We don't mention the question I put wrong before. But this team included players like Andres Pereira, who now plays for Fulham, and Cameron Bowick-Jackson, who plays for Macclesfield, and then obviously the Marcus Rashford came on off the bench. There was also Dean Henderson there for a bit of Cumbrian representation. Yeah. Kind of beaten them 2-1, especially with the team they kind of had. What was the feeling? How do you remember how you felt kind of full time?
Well, as a Liverpool fan, it's always good to beat United. So there was that feeling. But no, it was kind of bittersweet. I was obviously grateful for the opportunity that I got at United at the time, and then obviously to not get the scholarship that I was hoping for, to then get drawn against him in the FA Youth Cup and have the run that we did in that Huddersfield team was incredible. Really good season. But yeah, to come in and beat them 2-1 was just probably one of the best feelings in my footballing career. 100%.
I could definitely say how that would be quite good considering the past. But then unfortunately in 2015, like you say, you were unfortunately released by Huddersfield and you ended up at Barrow. Remember how that came along, and did you kind of enjoy your short time, but
it was
time there?
I think I was ready. My last year at Huddersfield was a bit up and down. My first pre-season, first day back in pre-season, I snapped my ligaments in my ankle. It was just it just set the tone for the rest of the season. Then I rushed back from it, and I was just never right from it for the most of the season. And by the time it healed, I was just I wasn't where I needed to be, and I was suffering from homesickness, obviously not playing, being injured and stuff like that. It got on top of me a bit. So I think I was ready, and to come back and be able to go play for my hometown, which is what I've always dreamed of. I'm a Barrow lad. It was just, it was nice to go home and be back with the family and be at Barrow, albeit I didn't play much. But it was, like I said, it was full time back at my hometown club, so I was happy with that.
So then in 2016, after you spell at Barrow, you moved to Clitheroe for 2 seasons, then went to Kendalltown. Do you have any favourite memories from the spells there?
That first year at Clitheroe was probably my best year, footballing wise, or one of anyway. I don't know what it was, but everything just worked. I don't think I've scored as many goals as I did in that season any other time else. It was just scored a lot of goals, and I couldn't pinpoint a specific moment, but that first year at Clitheroe was really good. Really enjoyed
just
it.
Going on a goal scoring spree.
Yeah, I was just hitting everything, and he just kept going in, which, as we all know, doesn't happen very often. They normally touch tackles, but it was there's something about that season that just clicked really well. Got along with the manager really well. The players, we had a really good squad. It was good.
So then in the December of 2018, after your spell at Kendal, you ended up at Workington Reds for your first spell until 2022. During that time, you dealt with relegation, unfortunately playoff heartbreak as well. We'll try and how did that come about, first of all?
Well, obviously I left Kendal and then came, it was like I said, it was at December time, there was stuff going on with the club and stuff, and I needed out. So ended up speaking to Dabber at the time and seeing if I could get myself up here, and he brought us in, and then I think that same week that he brought me in, he actually left. I think they were playing Ramsbottom away. I think it was in a cup game. Don't quote me on that, but and then he left. So I was coming to a new club, manager just left, and it was a weird season because it came in at a similar time to what we've come into this year. To come in and get relegated with the squad that we had at the time was just crazy. We had some really, really good players, and like I said, on paper we're probably one of the best in the league, but for some reason it just didn't work, it didn't click, and we ended up getting relegated. And then how it goes.
How did you kind of bounce back from that relegation? Obviously you then went to, well, unfortunately had COVID a couple of times, but then finally got to that playoff day, unfortunately due to unfortunate circumstances at Mark and Drayton, but we got to that playoff semi-final at Marine.
We bounced back, and like I said, Danny at the time did a really good job, brought in the right players, like I said, kept up a lot of the core of that group that did get relegated because, like I said, the quality was there, and then added in other places. So we had that, and then we had a really good season. We were definitely going to get promoted that season with Danny. And then obviously COVID hit. I know some people might say different that season. Nico. The Warrington Islands boys. But we had a really good season, and one of us was going to go up, whether it was through playoffs. The squad was too good not to go up that season. But then unfortunately COVID happened, and ruined it for us all. But that was a really, really good season. The togetherness in the group and that in the change rooms after games, after wins was just, Yeah, it was a really good group. So that was the bounce back, and then obviously the following season, when Chris Wilcock came in, again on paper and out there was probably one of the best squads. I know I've spoke to a few of the lads, and that was probably one of the best teams that we've ever played in. The quality was immense. And then obviously the heartbreak on last game of the season, Market Drayton, and we just couldn't get over the line. Obviously myself, I think it was myself, Ruben, Scotty Al, players like we were on the bench carrying knocks and stuff like that. But we had more than enough out there to win us the game. But it was just one of them free games, just couldn't get over the line, and ended up coming on. I didn't, like I said, I was injured at the time, but made myself worse, and then unfortunately missed out against Marine at home, and then you know the rest.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Were you in attendance for that game, or?
Yeah, I was sat on the bench watching it. It was.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the worst ways to bow out. Like, especially play out. You work all hard. You miss the league by 1 point or whatever it was. It's usually how it goes. It's not nice, and that's probably one of the worst feelings in football that I've had. And like I said, all the good years and all the good games and all that, to have on my CV one relegation and missing out on the playoffs is for Workington is nuts. I talk about it all the time. Like like I said, all the good years, and I've ended up with a relegation and playoff miss out. So it is not nice.
Yeah. Well, after the playoff heartbreak, you did end up getting a new team, Lancaster City. I'll try and find the years. I'll try again because I've lost the years. 2 years, right? That's fine. So then, kind of after the playoff heartbreak, you did find yourself a new team, and that being Lancaster City. You spent 2 years there. Do you have any kind of fond memories from that time?
Yeah, we had a good FA Trophy run. We ended up playing Chester away, which was a great day out. We did miss out, unfortunately, in that game. I did miss a 1-on-1 last minute as well.
Oh no.
I won't touch on that too much, but it was it was a good run, a good day out. I enjoyed my time at Lancaster. The boys were fantastic. It was a good solid group. We had a good Christmas do and stuff like that. It was it's a great club, Lancaster. I know there's obviously the rivalry there and stuff like that with Workington and Lancaster, but it is a good club. They're good people, and it's I enjoyed my time there when I was there.
And then you got a very nice move over in 2014 to up-and-coming Bury after, obviously, the unfortunate hardships they did suffer. You got the move with another former Reds player, Bobby Carroll was there as well, Ivor Gooden and Ruben Jerome, I think all came in around the same time. Yeah. During the time your first season you did pick up that injury. Was it your knee, MC?
PCL.
PCL.
Yeah. Probably, again, one of the toughest points in my career. Dealing with an injury that significant. Like, I've never had a long-term injury like that. And it was funny because it was the night before that we had my partner's family around, and we were talking about injuries and stuff, and we talked about, I was like, I've been quite lucky, I've never done anything to my knee. And then the following day we ended up going to play, who was it away? I can't remember who it was away, it'll come to me, but last 10 minutes of the game, ended up going down. One of the players just left one on me. I thought I'd just gone down, bought a foul, wasted some time, giving their fans some, laughing at them, and whilst I was on the floor. But I got back up, and as I jogged back on the pitch, my leg just started just giving way, knew something wasn't right. Very disappointing to go through the pre-season, get myself ready. Gig Lane was just the following week, because we played the first 3 games away because they had the delay on the pitch. To not get to play in front of that crowd, massive reason why I went to that club. The fans and stuff like that, it was very disappointing not to get to experience that.
But you did, luckily, you did get a very good support from your teammates. Got a GoFundMe, raised £1.8 thousand to help you out with during the time. You did end up then coming back in January. Played, I believe, it was a cup game, I think. They'll come to us, but maybe. But you got on the bench, came on in like the 83rd minute. How did that feel? Kind of bringing yourself on.
It was nice to just obviously be back out there. look, it was difficult, and obviously just touching back on the GoFundMe and stuff like that, the support that I had from the players, the staff, the fans, my friends, my family, like honestly, I can't thank everyone enough for doing that. Obviously, Macaulay, who did set up the page, you know, it allowed me to have the time to recover, take the time off work that I needed to take off and had to take off, to get back to where I was, because, like I said, it was a significant injury. Followed my rehab properly, did everything I needed to do, and then to get back as quickly as I did. Obviously did it I think it was the 3rd of August, and I was back playing again, training by the end of November, start of December. But then, yeah, it allowed me to be able to take the time that I needed to. But yeah, a massive thanks to the friends and family and the support that I had from everyone, especially the physios at Bury at the time, which was Alan and Aidan. They were top notch and really helped me through it all. They all did.
So after obviously all that happened, you got a little loan move over to Clitheroe. Unfortunately, didn't play too much. I believe, was it another injury?
So it was my loan it didn't go through in time. So I think it was the Friday night. It was in the January Friday night. Loan didn't go through on time, so I missed the Saturday game.
Right.
So I trained that week for some reason, whatever reason, didn't go through. And the following week, again, trained again all week. And then on that Thursday at training, again, last 10 minutes, my hamstring decided to go. So, which was quite an unusual tear. It was like a 15 centimetre vertically down my hamstring.
God.
Yeah, a bit like a cheese string. Yeah. That's the best way I describe it. And that was probably arguably worse than the knee, pain-wise. And that just knocked me out for the rest of the season. So again, I just took the time that I needed to recover from that. But once I did, I took holidays and stuff like that. Did all my pre-season running over there, pre-season. Kept myself fit with me and my partner. And yeah, came back in the following season, this season, in pre-season, and smashed it. Came back fit and did what I needed to do.
Like I said, second loan spell at Clitheroe went a lot better than the first one.
Yeah, well, believe it or not, the first week again, it managed to fall through, and I couldn't believe it. I for some reason missed the first week, missed the deadline, whatever it was, and I just thought, oh God, here we go again. I thought I'm going to get injured again. Anyway, it went through. I had a good spell there the first month, and then they did renew it for the second month, but however, I picked up a little knock, and obviously with it only being like a 4 week loan, the second month that I was there, I missed the games there, and then I just went back to Bury and just concentrated on getting fit again and just recovering right from that, and getting training under my belt.
And then again, you're back for another spell at Reds in the December. Great Christmas gift for a lot of Reds fans around the county and across, hopefully the world. It's a great thing to see you come back on in December. How did that come about? How did this one come?
I got a phone call from Darryl. I'm obviously know Darryl well. Was here when I was last here. We had a good lengthy chat, and I just told him my situation and stuff like that. And he said, "Look, have a crack with Billy, see what he says." So anyway, Billy gives a ring, and then told me what he was looking for, told me what he wanted, and it was, it worked. It was everything that I wanted. I liked what he said. So yeah, it was no brainer.
And now you're fighting, and we're in a brilliant relegation fight at the moment.
Yeah, a lot better than the last relegation scrap that we were in. But again, that was something on my mind that, I wanted to make up for that and stuff. Obviously, it sits with me. I do remember it, and I want to put it right and make sure that this club doesn't end up going back down in the league that they don't deserve to be.
I second you with that, especially with the quality players we have, and especially the manager, coaches and form we're on at the moment. So then you had your first game at Cleethorpes 2 days after signing, but then first home game in front of the crowd, a nice little red card against Lancaster.
It was written, wasn't it? It was written in the stars. Yeah, again, it was nice to be back, obviously back at home. Obviously the Cleethorpes game we lost, which wasn't a great start, but like I said after the game on the radio that I could see what the lads have got. I could see exactly what Billy was saying that the lads have got. in the group. We just needed something to get us over the line. You know, and the lads that he's brought in, you know, they've done a great job, and the lads that, you know, are here, were here, you know, they're working hard. We're all, you know, putting our body on the line every week. Yeah, the Lancaster game. Make of it what you want.
Yeah.
It's that for me, I've been through it over and over again. It's I don't think it's a red card. Some people do, some people don't. I think it makes it worse, the challenge in the first half. But again, that's football. You can't control it. You can't. You know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Well, we won't comment on it further in case. But
Yeah.
I was recently at the Guiseley game, and just obviously this was kind of booked in last week. This is at the time of recording. And I was speaking to people in the bar, and someone described you as a pantomime villain, kind of a player you love playing for your team, but a player you would hate if he was against you. Do you kind of agree that is that kind of how you see yourself as a player, or?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I've had that a lot with where I've been at. I'm not gonna, you know, I wouldn't say I'm technically one of the best players and stuff like that. I know what I'm good at. I give my all for you know, whoever I'm playing for. I always give 110% when I'm out on the pitch. I like to have a laugh with the fans when I can, you know, but yeah, I'd probably say I'm a bit of a shithouse, I'm not gonna lie. I can imagine I'm an absolute knob to play against. Yeah, it is what it is, though. You know, that's my game. That's my game.
I mean, you can definitely say the passion for every team you're playing for, especially now when we're on such a good run every single game from the crowd.
Well,
probably the best part.
It was just, you know, it was the same when I was here last time. We had that spell. I had that connection with the fans. But there's something about this club that I just love. I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is, but I do, and it just clicks. I just love it here. I understand what it's about. You know, I know what it means to the fans. I know what it means to the lads and you know, the people that work here and stuff like that. So it means a lot to me. And like I said, I've had some of my best footy years here. And like I said, I give my all when I go out there. You know, I was, after the game, the last home game, I was sat in the bar with my mum, and this guy sat next to us. And he's just on his own, and he speaks to me and he goes, "I can't speak to you." And I go, "Wow, what's up?" Just seeing how much it means to you means so much to me, and that's why we do it, and that's especially why I do it. You know that. Yeah, it was just a nice touch.
Yeah, that's lovely words. And like I say, as a fan, it's great. Like kind of how much passion you have, especially seeing it on the field and everything. And we're grateful to have you until the end. And it's but we'll go on to our final selection of questions. They're very basic ones. I've asked many people before. Kind of, who's your favourite player you've played with?
I've played with that many different players. It's hard to say. I enjoyed playing. You know, I'm good mates with Nico. He's a great little player. Some of the goals he scores and stuff like that. Reminds me of Guiseley when I was at Lancaster last time, and he's scored a really good goal there. He scored some beautiful goals. I love Nico. He's a great player. I'd probably put him up there, definitely.
That's your favourite player?
Yeah, to play with, 100%.
Yeah, that's fine.
He's great on and off the pitch as well. You know, he's a top lad. But I could be here all night talking about the different players that I enjoy playing. You know, Dom the same, and you know, there's loads of ex-Workington players and stuff like that. I'd be here all night. There's a lot of good players. Yeah.
That's great to hear. So. Now, going from played with to played against, who's kind of your favourite or best player you played against, or either or really?
Played against, probably when I was at United, Dimitri Mitchell was a very, very tricky player. I remember if I was ever doing a 2v2 or 1v1s against him, he was always a tricky little player. There were some very good players in that age group and the year above. But yeah, Dimitri Mitchell was a very tricky player, good player.
Yeah. Who does he play for now? Do you remember?
I'm not too sure. I can't
even I can't think. But anyway, on to our next question. Kind of, who's your favourite manager you've worked under?
So I'd probably say Frankie Bunn.
Frankie Bunn.
When I was at Huddersfield. A bit of an old school manager. Everything that I looked for in a manager, and he was probably, he got the best out of me. I knew what he wanted. He knew what he wanted from me. He was a bit hardcore, and I was petrified of him, absolutely petrified. Would never put a foot out wrong, in front of him, because daring to see the bollock he'd give you. But he was he was probably one of the best managers I've worked under, and he got results as well. He was great at the time. And I'll probably also my two when I was younger, growing up, Hawker Old Boys. I won't be where I am now if it wasn't for them two. Obviously Mark Etherington and Steve Vaughan, sadly not with us anymore. But them two would definitely got me where I was.
We'll then go on to probably a hot topic with the club itself, kind of with stadiums. What's kind of your favourite stadium you've played in?
Probably Old Trafford.
Old Trafford, yeah.
Yeah, definitely up there. Just weird feeling when you're on the pitch.
Yeah.
Your legs just instantly went heavy. It was a weird experience, one that I'll definitely never forget. But my favourite stadium was probably the Hawthorns, West Brom. Helps that I also scored.
Yeah, there was at the Youth Cup before the United game.
Yeah, I had to get that in there. It was... Yeah, that feeling of scoring, especially in the FA Youth Cup. And like I said, I didn't score many. I was playing left back at the time. And that feeling of scoring a goal was just... Yeah, and it was a pretty good goal as well, I must say. Yeah. I've got to give myself credit because I don't get many.
When you played for at Old Trafford, who was that for?
It was just United. Well, it wasn't. So much a game. Yeah. It was just like an internal game and stuff like that. And it was just one of them. It wasn't against someone specific, but it was just one of them. That
was a bit of a Dunsmark.
You must ruin that.
Who could he have played for? Almost like he played for United. But yeah, that's mainly all my questions. Probably the last one I can't ask, but.
Feel free if you want to ask it, mate. Ask away.
Are you going to stay?
Don't ask that question. Cut it out. No. Look, I've been asked this question a few times now. I've not really properly thought about next season, purely because we've got a job to do here. At the minute, we need to stay out of relegation, get ourselves out of it, and and keep ourselves up, and then we'll obviously have discussions and talks about it. I know Billy's probably not even thinking about next season either yet. There's no point. One game at a time, and then there's plenty of time over summer to discuss things like that and see where we go. Yeah. But I do love this club, so
I'm thrilled to hear. Yeah. Well, Brad, thank you for answering all my questions. Thanks for joining me today. It's been a pleasure to have you on, and a good laugh if you've watched the bloopers before you've watched this. Well, thank you for joining me, Brad.
Cheers, mate. Thanks very much. Thanks for having me.